Alright, everything is running. Hello, welcome back to Made in Abyss episode 8. Because I don't do single episodes. Oh no. No, we don't do single episodes here. I mean, would you wait? No, right? I do have my, whatever you want to call it. My protein. I do have my coffee. And I do have some water as well. You want a sip? Here. There you go. Now we pink cubed it. Right. What happened in the last episode of Made in Abyss? Great panel to start on. Our demon devil whatever. Actually, let me just tone it a little bit down with the light. You know, lighting is my thing at this point. I always talk about the lighting. It's just the beginning phases where we try to figure out shit, and lighting is one of the most important things when you're making videos. Camera too, but this is the one I can use, and that's what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, 𝐲𝐬𝐩 testing our protagonists at the end of the last episode, or basically the entire episode. We have so much information on 𝐸𝐬𝐩 from the last episode. Actually, that the grave was empty and she might be down there. At least 𝐲𝐬𝐩 believes so. So super interesting. I wonder why she relayed that message though, right? Why she relayed the whistle and why she relayed the message in general. I wonder if this was a thing that was kind of like, oh, here's a secret hint for 𝐸𝐸. We're gonna make sure that it gets up and she get access to it. And the only way for her to get access to it might have been 𝐸𝐬𝐩 dying. So, or 𝐸𝐬𝐩 might have had to fake her death for some other reason, and she needs 𝐸𝐸 to come down there for some specific reason, either because 𝐸𝐸 up there isn't safe, or there's secrets and truths down there that involve 𝐸𝐸 or require 𝐸𝐸. So 𝐸𝐸 might be involved in that. That would be a typical narrative way to tie in the main character into this entire thing. We did learn a little bit about the religions of the Abyss. Praying skeletons, remember that one? Maybe they were praying to the Abyss and praying for mercy in these difficult times. We do learn about the white whistles and their relics that they carry, and talked a little bit about maybe 𝐸𝐸 picking up one of them at some point. Booba. I don't mind it. 𝐲𝐬𝐩 is old enough, right? I don't mind it. She has a little bit of a difficult personality. What we'll manage that somehow. Some people like it. I'm kind of iffy on it, but you know, I can roll with it. Holy! Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Okay. Yeah, 𝐸𝐸's power development is gonna be very interesting. Also, 𝐸𝐸's origins. What is it gonna be used for in the narrative? That is one of my main questions, and that was one of my main questions the last time when we talked about it. We do have relationships developing, bonds deepening between Reg and 𝐸𝐸, but also us seeing more and more of 𝐲𝐬𝐩. And I still wonder, again, this resentment, is it here? Is it not here? Do we find out more? Why is it so easy for 𝐲𝐬𝐩 to play the villain, to kind of feed into this, I despise you and whatever? Is there some grain of truth in it? You know, good lies, or lies that are being sold well, they always have a little bit of truth in them. So very interesting, and it would be very interesting to know, even if 𝐲𝐬𝐩 was the master of 𝐸𝐬𝐩, what kind of relationships do white whistles have to each other, and who is the original white whistle? Also interesting. And we did see the robot in the intro, right? Very interesting that he is also a white whistle, and we're probably gonna meet him. I didn't see a whistle on the other girl in D&D. So she might just be a creature or some person down there that lost some of her humanity. We get a good thrashing. Undeserved, but I guess a valuable lesson. We do find out even more about Ozan and her cool Bloodborne-esque outfit. I do love it. Rek blaming himself, Marulk standing up for his new friends. And our training arc begins. Well, after Liza, and Liza falling in Ozan's footsteps. Very, very interesting. Yeah, strange creatures and whatnot await us probably in the dark of the night. We're being set in there, and then we ended it last time on thoughts can influence the abyss, and the abyss can influence your thoughts and can drive you insane. But if you're driven insane or at the brink of insane, all the mental scars we get, they seem to leave physical traces in this space, and then you start to wonder, what can we do with that narratively, right? And what awaits us down there when thoughts and material, right? When the physical world and the mental world merge, and the separation between them starts to blur. That is a really, really cool concept. Again, Evangelion, watch it. It's in the beginning not, but it's really cool. It has a lot of these elements and very interesting thought experiments along these lines that talk about a lot of what philosophers have been thinking about for thousands of years now, and psychologists are kind of adjacent to that, right? Philosophy isn't psychology. Psychology is more scientific. Psychology busies itself more with how humans function and work on a basic level, from biological all the way to the way we conceptualize things, but also obviously this leads into philosophy down the line, because then we get into questions of morality and understanding and human concepts, and then this is where societal thinking and thought experiments and metaphysics meet with actual biology and our mental landscape and the way we understand and perceive the world. But let's get into it. I don't have more to say to that. We've looked at the intro a couple of times now. We've looked at the ED a couple of times now. If you do want a specific analysis, you can tell me. I don't see a necessity as of now. Maybe our intros and EDs will change down the line, so maybe I might look at the new one, be like, oh shit, that is cool, and then maybe look back and compare a little bit to the old ED and the old OP. That would be a fun thing to do, maybe. Yeah, but I don't want to hold you up too long. If you do like my content, if you've watched it until now and you do enjoy it, leave a comment down below if you find anything interesting about my discussions or about the episode itself that you want to point out to me. Please no spoilers, of course, and I do consider anything that happens later on, and even a hint like, oh, you're going to be wondering about this, or you're going to be, right? That's a spoiler if it comes up later. I mean, obviously you can leave vague stuff like, let me say it like that. Pretend you're watching this episode and haven't watched anything else and haven't seen anything else of the source material. What would be going through your head at that point in time? And what are your thoughts? And that's okay and that's safe. And everything else is off limits, please, because I do want to wander and I do not want to be led down a certain path, because sometimes you go on tangents, but the tangents themselves are interesting as well, right? Because you talk about very interesting concepts, you talk about things that personally matter to you, even if they maybe turn out to be a false theory in the end, or you just speculating about stuff that doesn't turn out to be true down the line, but it's still valuable to talk about it because because you're opening up these concepts inside of your mind, inside the mind of other people, and you're kind of going back and forth with all of these possibilities and ideas and whatnot. But yeah, no spoilers, please. Other than that, leave a comment also on the lighting and the sound and whatever. If you notice anything, I always appreciate that. I mean, obviously it stresses me out a lot if somebody drops down in comment is like, this isn't quite right, the sound sounds weird, or you're desynced or whatever. I'm like getting a mental breakdown just because I have to possibly re-edit it if it's too bad, or but I still appreciate it because it kind of tells me what I need to pay attention to next time and whatever. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't. You know how it is with, I don't want to show you the statistics, but for most YouTubers, like 80% of the people who watch the videos are not subscribed. So if you do like my content and do want to see it in your feed, when you, I don't know, when you wake up in the morning and you gonna scroll through your YouTube and you see Philip DeFranco news or whatever, you're gonna scroll a little bit further and you're like, oh, he released a new video, cool. Don't even have to watch it directly. You just suddenly, you know, oh, cool, there's something to look forward to. Well, if you enjoy them, of course, but you know, I do also have a Patreon. I would love to make this this hobby of mine here into a side job. A side job, mind you. I can't do it as a full-time job, at least not as of now, as long as I'm still studying. But maybe someday down the line, if it would be plausible. But definitely like a side job for now, and even side jobs are important, and you spend a lot of time on them. But yeah. All right, I'll see you in the episode.
不動教動かざる王
Oh,
禅
Zen.
そのどしがたいレッスンはあの柱の木から向こうへは行かないように逃げたとみなすからね。
They have like a limited area. I didn't pick up on that earlier. Things that revive people. Interesting. So what are souls in this world?
どんな風に食い散らかされるかね。
Nee. The way she talks reminds me of Roswell from ReZero.
躊躇も容赦もなしだ。さもなきゃ君らの冒険が終わるのなんてあっという間さ。
Don't hesitate. Very, very wise words. Oh, falling into the abyss. It's very interesting that he falls into the deep dark below, and also his memories are a giant dark hole, right? At the moment, at least. And she's in a deep dark cavern while he wakes up in a very lit up environment. In their own different ways, but they're slowly and like subconsciously making their way towards each other, and then they see each other and it makes click. Also interesting that the cosmic or the star compass is featured very heavily in this intro. One more piece of evidence. She's kind of huddling, right? As if she's like in deep dark waters, which are cold. And I did see these flashes that I kind of didn't notice earlier on with Maruk and the other girl who we didn't meet yet. Survival training, and we do have our Psych as the symbol, the relic for this episode. Purple glow is never good. Rico, be careful. Purple glow is never good. Or maybe it is in this case. Very convenient, isn't it? Predators, though. Are there any predators in clean water? I'm sensing some disturbance in the force. Good job, good job. Some kind of water rhino. Wonder if this is a predator or if it was just a docile. I mean, yeah, Olsen seems to call it docile, but even docile creatures get aggressive when you threat upon their territory, right? They have to defend their young. Like bears, for example, might just not care about you in some circumstances, but if you're in their territory and their young are close, you better fucking... At least she has the knowledge, right? And we're on day 3. Ozen... Is that... No, that's her crew. Bro reminds me of the ends from Metal Gear Solid 3. Harsh, but maybe true. But they're complementing each other, we see that. Rico has some know-how. Dung? Oh, pheromones. See, that's the thing. She has the know-how. She's smart. She's just a little bit brash most of the time. Daishobu, Gambaro. Of course. But they need to learn to be good in the things that they can do well as well. That's what Ozen might not want. Alright, so here we go. Did she love her? It could be something else as well, right? Right. Resentment that works on a different level. We'll talk about this later. She's surprised. A strong sense of duty. Alright. Probably also one of the reasons she helps Rico. Not just because she sees Liza in her, but also because of that sense of duty. Maybe she feels that it is her duty to help Liza's child to succeed. After she has done so much for her, right? We talked about sunk cost fallacy and whatnot. And also, like, as soon as you get to know somebody, you have a close connection to them. Or not close connection, but you start connecting to them in some way. And then people or things that are dear to them become important to you as well. Shows that she's not entirely inhuman yet. They are done. They are done. Oh, so she went through that as well. In this scene, her eyes were reptilish again, a little bit. Full energy. So the pattern changed. Maybe there's some form. Of course, she wakes up to food. Talk about this as well. She looks like a hunchback in this. It's so funny, but I wonder if this is part of her armor and that's why, but time dilation, holy shit. Unheard bell. In too deep, literally. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, and there's layers that they haven't seen yet. And this is why she's been gone for so long. Now she's raising her hope. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, so it's a physical thing, alright. 𝐸𝐴 Bond. As you would expect, right? And now he gets it too. Holy shit. So it wasn't her handwriting. Wow. The everlasting pickaxe. It's not even a scythe, it's a pickaxe. It's her weapon, so did she pick up another one or is she lost somewhere? So we need to repair it, right? Rico's power up, maybe? Secrets, more secrets. Yes, please. Oral history. Oh, and I think we get trip-fed those probably. The deepest voices of the abyss. Alright. Like you see her as a monster, I don't. She's very thankful. Maybe something that's not like Liza. Humble. She'll be back, don't worry. You'll meet again. I understand the sentiment. This bond is forged in fire. And again, the abyss binds, and the abyss rips apart, doesn't it? They all feel it. It's drawing her in. 𝐸𝐲𝐿, that's leader. The truth before the truth. She expresses it way differently. And yes, the eyes reveal this. She's so small in comparison to Ozen. And the promise is made. Oh, okay. Did she pick that up from Reg, or did she say it before? Art rhymes, right? Very interesting. And this is the cavern, right? The cliffs. And hand in hand we move on into the shining white light this time. Very interesting. The Great Fault. Okay. It was called the Great Fault. Nice. So Liza is in a way a lot different than we might have imagined her to be from... Yeah. I mean, obviously these sites that Lita describes about her are still true. There's still aspects of her, but I knew that there was a reason they hit the eyes, and it was for this moment, right, to reveal to us who she really is. To not show us, is she a cruel person, right? The eyes, the design kind of give you an idea often. And we do see it here, right here now, that there's a reason why she left Rico alone for all this time. Some of them misguided, other of them maybe not even her own fault, right? With the time and all of this. And down we go, drawn by the abyss, with the scythe. Or the pickaxe, like the pickaxe. I thought it was a scythe, but... It's a pickaxe, actually. And it's that little bundle here, I think. So we are at the Great Fault. Alright, where do we start? Where do we start talking about this shit? It's alright, we do what we always do. I'll be seeing you in the discussion part. And we're gonna be talking, I don't know how long, but we're gonna be talking. Right, let's talk about it, should we? Shall we talk about it? Alright, let's fucking talk about it. Episode 8 of Made in Abyss. Let's run through it. We do have lingering resentment. That was the first thing I wrote down, which, yeah. Rico and Reg are left alone to do their survival training. We talked a little bit about the OP, how, interestingly enough, the Star Compass is very featured in it, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna come up at some point. We do have Rico's usual rashness combined with her knowledge of the world, but also her things that she doesn't think about, right? Like normal animals or monsters also being territorial, even if they're not predators. Rex saves her ass once again, and they do kind of make their way through their survival training day by day, and they the things that we already thought and already kind of could observe are true and are observed by 𝐸𝐻𝐻's team, that while Reg has some of these abilities like good combat ability, good sturdiness and whatever, he's not very heavy, so he has difficulties there if he is confronted with a monster or with an opponent which is stronger and heavier, or with a challenge. We also do see that Reg is very slow to react, right? Slow reaction time, a lot of introspection and overthinking at times, and not fast to make a decision, and right, and too anxious maybe. While Rico is too brash, she's very clever and very, very passionate, has a very strong drive, but she gets herself into trouble very quickly and has to be saved out of it. So they complement each other very well, and one of the members of 𝐸𝐻𝐻's team kind of says that they should rely on each other, and upon that sentence, 𝐸𝐻𝐻 kind of thinks back to 𝐈𝐦𝐩, and I really like how this is very how the drawings are made. It's very, a lot of hard lines, a lot of I don't know why it's done like this, but in my opinion, it feels kind of right? Maybe it's just kind of like memories that are ingrained into her, moments, specific still moments that are ingrained into her from her memory about 𝐈𝐦𝐩. But what's very interesting about this is definitely that everything around 𝐈𝐦𝐩 is very normally drawn. So we do have that, well, I would want to say almost iconically drawn, or like very drawn with very hard lines, right? 𝐈𝐻𝐩's drawn with very hard lines, with very might kind of emphasize that 𝐸𝐻𝐻 has a very specific view on 𝐈𝐻𝐻, very strong concept of 𝐈𝐻𝐻 is in her mind, and the rest is the environment. But also apparently her partner was drawn like this, so 𝐸𝐻𝐻, green hair, very interesting. I wonder if 𝐸𝐻𝐻 is actually dead, but I do assume he is, and they saw him fall, so that is very much a shame. She was part of or he was part of her crew, and we do see this grimace with no eyes, with no mouth, really, like it looks like one of those I don't know the artist, the very famous artist who made the Scream oil paint, I think it was an oil painting, kind of harrowing. You do definitely see that this news about 𝐈𝐻𝐻 having a partner and getting married is impacting 𝐸𝐻𝐻 very strongly, and I do wonder if this is due to 𝐸𝐻𝐻 feeling a certain way about 𝐈𝐻𝐻, as we have hypothesized in the past, like just speculated, because back then we didn't have the information, or if this is actually just 𝐸𝐻𝐻 being afraid or shocked of losing a friend to somebody who is even closer to that, losing someone, or right, having to share someone's attention, someone's warm feelings and adorations and whatever, having spent so much time with a certain person and then realizing that there's somebody in between, right? Somebody who they might even care more about, somebody that maybe even something that came out of left field or whatever. But she does have that sense of responsibility towards 𝐈𝐻𝐻, that she still has these warm feelings, even if there's like a hint, a pinch of resentment in there, or a pinch of like unresolved feelings that she never talked to 𝐈𝐻𝐻 about. We do know that specifically, because not specifically, but we can very well guess that based on the way 𝐸𝐻𝐻 is as a character, and also based on their interactions with each other. Yeah, and yeah, 𝐸𝐻𝐻 came in between them more or less, but 𝐸𝐻𝐻 still fulfilled her duty. She she was gonna carry that dead lump of flesh up there, and then suddenly she actually realized that Rico was alive. He's kind of reminiscing back on that, and then we have our heroes returning, and we do see the closeness of experiences shared between them, that Maruk also went through this in the past, and Reg is sharing his feelings of, hey, I had a hard time too there at the end, even I as like a robot or whatever, as a strong, more or less stronger being than those two humans that we have here on the side. And yeah, of course Rico would wake up to to mentioning food, but before that we do see Reg wondering why, or if the symbol on his head changed. I do wonder if there's anything in the OP intro or somewhere that could give us an idea about the symbol here. I do know that, for me, at least on a visual basis, this thing looks very similar to some of the relics I've seen, and some of like even the star compass that I have seen. It is also very interesting that the star compass seems to point down into the abyss. We talked about that before, right? To the bottom of the abyss. And Rico was, when she was born, thanks to her special circumstances, automatically drawn to the abyss, and Reg is drawn to the abyss, and the only people we have seen having that star compass in their hands is actually Reg and Rico. So we don't know if it's actually just always pointing to the abyss, which would make it kind of more or less useless unless you're kind of lost within like an area of the abyss, or if it's actually just pointing towards your deepest desire or your destiny or whatever it is. So that's an interesting thing. I do also wonder if the symbol completing itself more, I don't have the direct comparison. Actually, I could look that up. Let me queue up episode. No, that's not the episode. I don't know if I have the episode, but I do think I do have the episode. Nope. Might be episode 5 actually. Towards the end, we do put on the helmet again at some point and do see the first glimpse of, oh yeah, here we go, the first glimpse of the symbol. And interestingly enough, the symbol is more complete here, at least from what I've seen just now. We take that screen grab. You probably, yeah, you're gonna see most of that. And we do take it for the direct comparison to episode 8. We're somewhere close to the middle when we we're coming home deeply exhausted, of course, but we have managed it, and obviously that is going to give us a feeling of accomplishment. And also I'm sure they've learned a lot going through this challenge, and they've realized a lot of how they can complement each other. All right, here we do have the direct comparison of the two symbols. We have that little like star thingy in the middle, and we do have the surrounding spheres, which are like I want to say ellipses, and we do have I don't know if that's the correct word, and we do have those I'm bad at naming geometrical things in English. I need to look that up, but we have those squares which are kind of like yeah, I don't know how they're called, right? Distinct shapes, right? And we have the 2 points here and the 2 points here, but this here, all of that is missing. So we have a symbol that is less complete. So I wonder if what this thing represents is certain mindsets and modes that Reg can be in, or if it represents his energy status, or if it maybe also can represent some form of evolution in Reg, right? He made certain experiences, and now, like a robot that is more or less a little bit programmed, or at least his parts are programmed, his robot parts, they function due to a specific algorithm or based on a specific technology. And I wonder if that means that there's certain parts that get modified when he braves challenges and overcomes them, or if this is maybe like more of like a reverse progress bar, where we have slowly the symbols are getting erased based on what milestones in his path to where he is maybe supposed to go he reaches. So there's a lot of different things that this can mean. Also, it can just indicate maybe position or area he's in, or other states Maybe it even has something to do with the state of the world around him, and just atmospheric or abyss related specific meta states that deals more with mental and concepts and curse of the abyss and the force field maybe. I mean, we're in a similar position. They are here right now. When he put it on again, they were a little bit further in the middle of the abyss, so I do wonder if this is in some way connected to the force field. We do see what we can hypothesize the force field might be coming from the city in the intro, which has this the same color scheme in the form of like the energy that goes up. So I do wonder if this is connected to that to the mechanism that governs the force field. But yeah, we talked to 𝐲𝐬𝐻. Don't say in the deep layers if you... No. Let me go back again. All right. I'm too impatient. Don't say in the deep layers if you don't want to kill those waiting for you. Very interesting. It's kind of a play on insanity, right? If you go down there, you might go insane and you might kill people that have been waiting for you. Or it means something different. Here we do have her explanation. One sense of time go. Oh, all right. So this is the allusion to the time, which is a very super interesting concept. Time dilation. We do have time dilation, which again, not too far a thought. I kind of expected that because we do have the unheard bell, which is supposedly stopping time. At least so the lore says, and so 𝐸𝐻𝐿 tells us. And I don't know any way where. In which he could have come to that conclusion if that wasn't official information by the guild, because unheard bell doesn't spell time to me. So stopping time seems to be a thing with the unheard bell. Very interesting. So obviously that would be very valuable for somebody who's very interested in the abyss and the deeper layers of the abyss and sends somebody down there, for example, but needs to wait a very long ass time because time moves very slowly down there in comparison to up there. So you would maybe stay down there for a year or for 5 years and then come up again, and then the person who actually gave you the order to get the thing or to explore this area for them might have already died because it's been 100 years on the surface. So the unheard bell certainly would be very valuable as an item, and I can understand why some nations might want to get their hands on that, even beyond the normal just stopping time thing. That is insane. But yeah, we have time dilation, and with that we do have somewhat of an explanation why Liza has been gone for so long. It's not neglect, maybe, it's just she went down there and she went down deep enough to not exactly know how time works there, and maybe she has to fulfill a certain mission or purpose down there and has to do something, and she knows she has to do something, and all she can do is kind of hope that 𝐸𝐻𝐿 is still young or still alive when she comes up, or that 𝐸𝐻𝐿 at some point comes down to seek her, and then the time will be more level again. Yeah, and then we get the 𝐷𝐿 warning about like the right, making a journey of no return. Yeah, I have a feeling that not as much time as we all think has actually passed for Liza. So Liza might be, like, crazy thought, if they take a long time going down there, Liza might be the same age or a similar age as 𝐸𝐻𝐿, which is insane if you think about it. Then you would technically have two Liza. Well, not actually, but you know, right? That would be an insane thing to think about. And that also poses a question for 𝐲𝐻𝐿. If 𝐲𝐻𝐿's been down there before multiple times, that also makes her possibly much, much older than we actually think she is. Even with the reveal that we know she's already really, really old in comparison to Liza. And we have that 𝐸𝐻𝐿 being overly affectionate and 𝐲𝐻𝐿 just shutting her down. She does not like affection. She does not like to display affection. Alright, it's fine, 𝐲𝐻𝐿. You can be a little sun, it's fine. You're moving more in my ballpark with your personality traits now. I'm just kidding. I mean, she's obviously still who she is, like more like on a flat affect, emotionless level, but she doesn't. That's very interesting. It tells you something about a person if they do not accept displays of affection. It tells you that they generally like to keep people at arm's length, and then you have to ask, why is that the case? And methinks this might have a lot to do with her past experiences, including those with Liza, but maybe even before that, right? She has probably been somewhat like that before that, and whatever experiences she made before that, and then she met Liza, and maybe she warmed up a little bit more and got more affectionate with her, and then the stuff with Torka happened, and the stuff with Rico and the curse repelling vessel and all of that, and then Liza went down there without her for whatever reason. Maybe it's just them going separate ways amicably, but still there's a lot to work on, and there's certainly a lot, I think, that can still be revealed down the line, be that through Ozan herself, through people that Ozan knows, or through Liza when we get to the bottom of this. And this is one thing I wanted to write down here. We do have the other white whistles. We write down the names here, and we can talk about them maybe in the intro of the next episode reaction. A few of my kind. The Sovereign of Guidance. Vakuna the Chosen. Right. They all have the title of Sovereign of something, right? Except for Liza, interestingly enough. But yeah, just enhances her specialness, right? And there's certainly a reason for that, I'm sure. The Sovereign of Guidance, which is Vakuna the Chosen. A very, yeah, I mean, Guidance and Chosen, that makes sense. We do have the Sovereign of Mystery. Guidance, Mystery. I wonder if this is their specialties, right? The Sovereign of Guidance helps people travel along the way. The Sovereign of Mystery has solved and tries to solve a lot of the mysteries of the Abyss and is very interested in them. Probably also, I mean, we have a Raven kind of design, right? Scientifically and whatever. 𝐸𝐬𝐩 the Mysterious. I mean, that is pretty straightforward. Mystery and mysterious. Then we do have the Sovereign of Dawn. Dawn. Dawn as in the sun going up. Dawn as in the force field, maybe. I mean, the color scheme would fit. Bondroot. Don't even know how to. That the novel. So he is very unique. I mean, they're all unique, but yeah, and that's it. And Liza, who is not the Sovereign of anything. Liza is just the Annihilator. So question is, why is he called the Annihilator? How many people did she actually kill, and why did she kill them? Or how many monsters? She might be just a monster hunter, right? But I wonder why we're deviating from this scheme, from this naming scheme, because she's called Ozan the Immovable, but also she's called the Sovereign of... Oh, I don't even know how... I think it was in episode 7 that we heard what she was called. We go through here, and we have Harbo talking, yeah, uniquely personifying their titles, and then she says physical strength, the unmovable sovereign, right? Ozan is the unmovable sovereign. So the sovereign of the unmovable, or yeah, the unmovable sovereign. Right, and we do have Bondroot, 𝐸𝐬𝐩, and Vakuna. I don't know how to yeah. I mean, I probably could listen to them, but I'll do it next time. But yeah, and in the process of knowing about these, or getting to know these people, or getting to know about these people, we don't get to know them. 𝐲𝐬𝐩 warns us that they're all scoundrels. Now, if she isn't a scoundrel, she definitely isn't a scoundrel, because scoundrels are more unsavory in a way, right? More, also more. I mean, she's sadistic enough, I guess. But apparently they're all scoundrels even for her, so that isn't a very interesting thought. But that might actually just be a perspective shift, and in reality we do see that they're just a different kind of eccentric and weird, and certainly probably egotistical to a degree. And she gets the scythe. She inherits yet another item from her mother, although I don't know if she has gotten the whistle. If 𝐲𝐬𝐩 gave her the whistle back, or if she, we'll see. But yeah, now it's secret hour. We're gonna tell our people secrets, and what she tells is, in her own words, the deep, or in the words of Reg, probably the deepest voices of the abyss, which is a very nice play on words, right? Because of the depth of the abyss, and the deepest words, the words of the people who went the deepest, who went down the rabbit hole the most, basically. Right, let me see what... And their last dives, very interesting, a lot of stories about their last dives. That people are capable of carrying to us. So the implication is that there's voices in the abyss that are deeper than that, but people are incapable of carrying them to us because somewhere along the lines they get lost. I wonder how many voices the abyss swallowed up and never gave back. The cryptic device for traversing the 5th layer, 𝐶. Sea of the Undead. Okay, so it's an actual sea. Sea of the Undead is an actual sea. And we have a cryptic device for traversal. Alright. So we get all of that knowledge, which is very interesting. That normally only white or black whistles or whatever that are going deeper will be privy to. But they know that Riko's gonna go down there, there's no stopping her. And then about how white whistle's timbre acts as a key to activate certain class relics. Okay. Timbre, I wonder where the trees grow for that timbre, right? Interesting, which is why we saw 𝐲𝐬𝐩 activate the curse repelling vessel earlier. So her timbre seems to be for that specific class of, or maybe all of the white whistles have the same class of relic that they activate. That's possible too. But I would assume that the class of relic that their whistles activate are in tune with the relics they carry around with them. For 𝐈𝐦𝐩, the pickaxe, for example. So it would also make sense if 𝐲𝐬𝐩 maybe gave Riko the whistle, so she can use the pickaxe to its maximum effectivity if she has to. Although there's only a few uses left, and I do wonder if at some point we're gonna get our upgrade, right? We're gonna get our smith or whatever, and they're able to reforge the relic for us so it works properly again, or kind of remagic it, whatever is necessary for that. Mysterious ring of the 7th layer that several white whistles have reported seeing. What kind of ring, right? A ring of light? An actual material ring? Maybe the Japanese gives us some clue as to that, so anybody who understands Japanese and actually is watching this, tell me down below if there's a certain kind of word that is used here that gives us a clue if it's an actual ring that you put on, or if it's like more of a ring of light, or because reported seeing tells me that it's something you might be able to see in the distance and not find. Ring, 7th layer, what kind? That is my notes. Yeah, you can see how it looks. I have great handwriting. I'm training for my doctorate, you know. Doctors need that unreadable handwriting, code or whatever. Just messing. When 𝐲𝐬𝐩 said she hates sleeping, all right. So she told them everything, right? We do have that. She held nothing back because she promised it, right? And then we're heading out. We have once again our heartfelt goodbyes. We do, like I said, we do have that saying goodbye to things and people we got to know better and that we make connections with, and not knowing if we ever see them again. But the abyss binds us all together, right? And if we happen to find ourselves again, it's gonna be an emotional reunion for sure. And yeah, that kind of gives me hope. And she hopes that they might have not. That they might just give up, and it's understandable. It's 100% understandable. You don't want to lose a friend. You don't want to lose somebody you just met who's very nice. You don't want to lose these few connections that you make down the line, and you're obviously worried about them dying because it's a reality of the abyss. But yeah, Liza was actually pretty fucking young when she got Rico. So that is very interesting. But it could also be just that 𝐸𝐬𝐩 is super tall. We saw 𝐸𝐸𝐩 is a lot taller than everybody else in the room always. It's also interesting that the thing that 𝐸𝐸𝐩 does with her hunchback seems to be like a physical thing, a biological thing. So that might be one of the blessings or curses of the abyss that she has used to her advantage, or some of the relics that she built into her body or whatever. So yeah, very interesting. We do also know 𝐸𝐲. At this point, she's her apprentice. It's Leader. That's the name for Leader, 𝐸𝐲. And we do find out that Liza cares about Rico very deeply. And she does have these preconceived notions that might be true or might not be true. It's very interesting that apparently very few people should know that Rico is actually her daughter. I do wonder if people could figure it out because they're very similar. And there's some time if somebody's very observant, that would probably be able to do it. And now we have the eye reveal. We have the eyes, and they're beautiful. Like, they're beautifully drawn, right? Like deep, not like steel, but deep blue eyes, full of emotion, full of like reflections, and this very very bushy around the eyes, which is a very very distinctive design. Kind of can say a lot, in tune with nature, but also makes her look relatively pretty, and relatively appealing. So yeah, and then she says, make sure you tell her what a miracle it took for her to be alive. 𝐸𝐸𝐩 didn't, right? She didn't express it that way. Never did she in any way express it that way, but it's probably gonna come up at some point. But this is the mystery that's left to Rico here. She has her idea of her mother will keep constantly changing the further she goes down into the abyss, and the more she gets to know the people her mother knew, and the more she gets to know her mother through these people, because these people will all have different versions of Liza in their head. And not only that, but also they will all relay different versions and different aspects of her mother to her. In this case, 𝐸𝐸𝐩 did not choose to relay this incredibly romantic and dreamy side of her mother, being like what a miracle it was, and with all these warm connotations, because obviously lost in translation, right? 𝐸𝐸𝐩 isn't the type to relay these feelings, and I think it would probably be very difficult for her to even express them in a way. But I do suspect that is one of the main aspects that made 𝐸𝐸𝐩 very attached to Liza and respect Liza very much. And she says she's going down back into the abyss. Wait, why is she going back? There's thanks to the whole heap of priceless things. She's alive right now, alright. If I continue to stay with her, I'm liable to take Rico's right to set off on adventures away from her. Because she would be worrying about her, or because of other things. And I'll likely become separated from the abyss myself. Which means she's drawn to the abyss herself, and she doesn't want to lose this addiction. That my girl is free to choose whatever path she wants, but we do see that she already has the tendency to go down into the abyss. And 𝐸𝐸𝐩 is kind of trying to give her a reality check. Who are you fooling? You just want to get to the bottom. And she grins because there's a part of her, like, that's not her completely, right? But there's a part of her for which this applies. So in a way it is neglect, but it's also not neglect, right? She has good intention, and she's trying to put these good intentions ahead and kind of justify her own desire of going back into the abyss as well, with these good intentions and these thoughts that she has that might apply. And here we see another similarity between her and Rico, that is, and she has these thoughts and these conclusions that she's coming to that might not necessarily be true, that might not necessarily make sense on a surface level, but as soon as you dig deeper, they don't make that much sense anymore. And she does have these ideas and puts them forward. But yeah, she says, tell her the truth when she's coming down here. Tell her how to tackle the magnificent adventures that are waiting for her. So she wants her to follow in her footsteps. And we do see all of that warmth, all of that spirit that in my opinion, 𝐸𝐬𝐩 admired so much about her, because here she's beaming, right? The entire scene is beaming thanks to her, and that is her charisma. And even 𝐸𝐬𝐩 is not unaffected from this as she closes her eyes and grins to herself. A very unusual grin. It's a very slight change, but you do see that 𝐸𝐬𝐩 respects that about her. And we do go hand in hand into the next adventure. But yeah, that's it. That's it for Made in Abyss episode 8. Very interesting, a lot of secrets revealed, a lot of new questions raised, but this time a little bit more answers than questions, and I'm very happy that we get this back and forth, piecemeal, answers, questions, answers, questions. If you do like my discussions, I would really love for you to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I do also have a Patreon if you want to support me. Other than that, tell me what you think about the lighting. Was it cool? Was it alright? Does it work? How does the camera angle work for you? Am I kind of talking to you well enough? Because the camera was there before, so I had to kind of look over here to talk to you guys. Now I'm kind of looking in the other direction. It's kind of like a change for me. But if you guys don't notice it, then it's already being effective. It's already working well, so do let me know. On that, I'll be seeing you in the next video.